Welcome to the program. Now, slain long-distance Olympic runner Agnes Tirop, a rising star in Kenya's highly competitive athletic scene, has been buried at an emotional funeral attended by over 1,000 mourners. Tirop was found stabbed to death in her home in the Rift Valley town of Iten on the 13th of October in an incident that has shone the spotlight on violence against women here in Kenya. Her funeral was held on the day she would have turned 26. Mourners, including fellow athletes, lined up to scatter flowers on a white coffin. A picture of Tirop smiling and holding up a bronze medal was also placed on top of the coffin. Police arrested Tirop's estranged husband Ibrahim Rotich in the coastal city of Mombasa last week, and he has been arraigned on suspicion of her murder. Mourners at the funeral held in Western Kenya eulogized the fallen runner as a shining light gone too soon.
This year I was moving to road races, so while we were at the Tokyo Olympics, I was telling Agnes that now the onus was on her to take up the women's middle distance races mantle. I told her that in 2022 she was to go and defend my titles and represent our country well in the World Championships, because I'm the world champion. I told her that now I'm leaving. She was supposed to follow in my footsteps, and other upcoming athletes were meant to follow in hers.
Discipline, polite athlete, receiving instruction very well, but something, I don't know how I can say.
Well, the death of a top Kenyan athlete has brought to the fore the rising cases of domestic violence and femicide across Africa. The United Nations has called her death the shadow pandemic. Dina Awar, a human rights activist, says the COVID-19 pandemic has only worsened the situation.
The pandemic has strained so many people in terms of resources, economically. For example, in Kenya, we had the lockdowns. So many people could not do their businesses. So it meant that most people that were doing small businesses had to stay at home. And you also recognize that people lost their jobs. So you find that a man and a woman who probably were seeing each other in the evening are spending so much time together with very little resources, but so many problems to be sorted. And so that sometimes brings friction, We must look at the statistics as actual people, not numbers. And it is important that our leadership is seen to carry this issue with the seriousness that it deserves.
While the murder of Olympian and world record holder Agnes Tirop has led to an outpouring of grief, anger, protests and calls to action to address the gender-based violence that has been visited upon female athletes in Kenya for years. As the slain Olympian and world record holder was laid to rest, CGTN's Asta Tal looks back at a murder that has shocked the nation and the world.
On the morning of October 13th, the world woke to shocking news. The body of Agnes Tirop, a 25-year-old Kenyan female athlete, had been found in her home in Iten with stab wounds. The full horror of her murder soon became clear when her estranged husband, Ibrahim Rotich, was swiftly implicated by police as a main suspect to the killing. A day later, Rotich was arrested in Mombasa, some 800 kilometers away from the scene of the crime, as he attempted to flee to a neighboring country. The 41-year-old was subsequently charged with the murder and remanded in custody.
The girl is so jovial. In fact, we traveled with her to Nairobi the day that we were returning back home from Tokyo. And even on Monday at 4, I talked to her through the phone, and we were to meet at town, so it has happened. It's unfortunately.
Agnes won the World Cross coming from the junior ranks, and she had the career progression. She used to tell me she will run the marathon maybe in the future, and I would tell her everything is possible because I had not run the marathon before and I did well. She would tell me I'm her mentor, and if you win in marathons, there is hope for me.
The killing of Tirop has shone a spotlight on violence against women in Kenya, which the government says has grown worse since the start of the global coronavirus pandemic. Ahead of her burial, leaders, fellow athletes, rights groups, organizations, and ordinary members of the public condemned the senseless killing, leading to a mass protest that attracted thousands in Eldoret. Many now hope Tirop did not die in vain, and her passing will be a seminal event to address an issue that has affected many Kenyan female athletes for years.
It's a bad moment to us, and Agnes Tirop is our champion. I remember many things to Agnes Tirop. First of all, I remember him when he won a record in Germany. I was the one who gave a flower after winning, after breaking record. It was so sad to me.
I remember Agnes in 2019 when we were in World Championship, because Agnes got a bronze medalist in 10,000 and I got a bronze medalist in marathon. So Agnes, we share a light moment with Agnes and after the race, because 10,000 was about almost the same day with the marathon, because Agnes was we are the same in management with Agnes. She ended the marathon at the promotion, and we get the same medal, bronze in 10,000 and I got bronze in marathon. So on that time we really say, wow, you get a bronze and we are the same in family of athletics. So it's really painful.
Tirop was tragically murdered only 10 days to her 26th birthday. She announced her talent to the world when she won the senior women's title at the Guiyang 2015 World Cross in China while she was still a teenager. Tirop then went on to win Kenya bronze medals at the London 2017 and Doha 2019 World Championships. Before her untimely death, she broke the world record in a 10-kilometer women-only event with a time of 30 minutes and 1 second in Germany on the 12th of September. Her last performance was a second finish in the Giants Geneva race behind Kaki Dan Gezaenge in a time of 30 minutes and 20 seconds earlier this month. Astatal, CGTN.
Well, as we've heard, heartbreaking scenes from Western Kenya as Agnes Tirop was laid to rest earlier today. For more on this story, we're now joined by CGTN Sadiq Shaban, who is live for us in Eldoret. Sadiq, what message do the charged scenes you witnessed earlier today send out to both Kenya and the world following this untimely and tragic murder?
Mahia, the message was very loud and clear today during the burial of Agnes Tirop. The athletes, the mourners, officials who were there said, let this be the last time we are assembling in any gathering, in any congregation to mourn one of our own. In any case, we should be congregating and coming together to celebrate victory by the athletes. So the message today was very loud and clear. There were concerns about gender-based violence that many speakers said had been left unspoken about for years, and they say it's time now to come together and have that very difficult conversation, not just in Kenya, but around different sporting disciplines across the board.
And Sadiq, what can we expect then in coming days as far as resolving this shocking murder?
Mahia, the investigators have assured the family and everybody that no stone will be left unturned. They say the investigations are going on and the prime suspect is behind bars at this particular point. They have assured the family that the wheels of justice will be hastened up, will be speeded up so that justice is served to the fallen Olympian. There's also a conversation about this time about the late Agnes Tirop's property, which is in dispute at this particular point. The family has appealed to lawyers and people of goodwill to help them to secure that. And Athletics Kenya say in the coming days, they want to bring the athletes together as they have done previously during anti-doping seminars. They want to bring them closer now and speak to them about issues of mental health and also just about other issues, including investment and generally the athletes' well-being.
And finally, briefly, before we let you go, do you think that the death of Tirop is probably the seminal event that Kenya needs in order to deal with the matter of gender-based violence and mental issues affecting mostly the country's female athletes?
Very sadly, Mahia, the issue of Samuel Wanjiru was revisited during this event. Remember Samuel Wanjiru, the first Kenyan marathon runner to win gold in marathon back in 2008 at the Beijing Olympic Games. That murder remains a mystery years later. And now the issue of Agnes Tirop. Gender-based violence remains such a contentious and a sensitive topic in athletics. And Athletics Kenya officials have told us that many athletes do not come forward to speak about this issue, making it very difficult to be, for it to be addressed. But they are saying they are hopeful that they will make very crucial steps to also address the issue of depression, which has now been reported among Kenyan athletes, and mental health issues. Many athletes sort of speaking about this and saying it was a very difficult year last year with the lockdown. There was no races, there was no income, and so they are feeling the strain of lost income. So an assurance has been given out that a conversation will be going on in the coming days addressing all these issues that came to fore during the burial of Agnes Tirop.
All right, Sadiq, thank you very much for speaking to us. CGTN Sadiq Shaban joining us live there from Eldoret.